What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title called Blood Running. If you saw my previous video on Zero Sievert, you'll know exactly what to expect here. The main difference with this title is that the overall gameplay precepts have been transferred over to a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk world. So today we're going to be taking a look at the game for about 30 minutes and seeing if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or if it's one of those games that's just not for you. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description, but let's dive on into it. So Blood Running, as previously mentioned, this is a game that is very similar to a game like Zero Sievert. It is a top-down shooter where you are leaving from a megacity 1 type location and going out into the post-apocalypse and trying to annihilate as many bad guys as humanly possible while simultaneously stacking loot to the ceiling. Along the way, you'll be tangling with all the denizens of the wasteland. I will say that this game's early access is on the earlier side of earlier accesses. I have had bugs, I have had some issues with the game, but overall it seems to be functioning and doing perfectly fine. But we're going to be tangling right now with some sand punks. Sand punks are a gang that live out here in the wasteland, and unfortunately they are a little bit more intense than some of the other bad guys that I've come across so far, and so I'm kind of like on a wish and a prayer right now, hoping that this thing works out. And the reason being is that we're trying to steal some of their energy cells, but they're not really going along with it. They're putting a lot of bullets inside my tiny body right now, so hopefully everything works out. But if you played Zero Sievert, very similar game. Top-down shooter where you aim with the mouse, you shoot at enemies. It's got RPG mechanics in there. It's got level ups and other things that'll happen to your character. As you move along and as you get stronger, you'll get abilities. The big thing that they swapped around here, oh my god, these guys have range. Okay, I'm just going to mag dump down the hallway and hope for the best. Let me get a med kit off real fast. There's no associated animations right now for meds or bandages or eating or anything else like that. I do think they're going to need that inside of the game, but let's track down these energy cells before things get much worse. I got shot pretty good, and I don't know if my armor's holding out. We've also got cyberware inside of this. Most of the cyberware is pretty uninteresting. I was actually hoping for better. If you got a game with cyberware, I expect it to do all kinds of crazy stuff like slow down time and give you like a blink dash and things of that nature, but unfortunately not the case with this title. Most of it is just flat stat increases where you get better at moving or you get better at this, that, or the other. I need some more bandages too in case I bleed a lot. Let's hit this chest over here and see if it's got anything that we need. There's the second power cell, so that was the other thing that we were trying to drag down with us. I need a bunch of stuff for building my base back at home. You do have kind of like an apartment in this game, and you're able to upgrade it and kind of add new facilities and things of that nature to it so that you can craft more effectively, and you're not so reliant on the vendors in order to get things that you need. And for right now, I have not put nearly enough stuff into my base building, and so that's probably what we're going to be focusing on today. I don't really want that 5.56. How many of each round do I have left? I got a lot of 8.55, so we should be all good. That's kind of like the standard NATO round for an M4, although I am using a scrap M4 right now. Ooh, they've got a weight room in here, huh? Can I steal the weights? How much do they weigh? They weigh 2 kilograms apiece. I needed some weights to build up my base, so I'll grab those while I'm here too, but I gotta find this last energy cell, which I'm guessing is squirreled away somewhere down the hallway. Finished off one chunk of my quest right there in the killing of the sandpunks. Do they have anything good on them right now? More 8.55. I will take that for sure because I can only buy like 150 of it per day from the vendor, and I found that I go through like 300 to 400 rounds on a good raid, and so I'd like to just get that knocked out. This is probably our last guy over here. There's our third energy cell. I also need a lot more of these little, I guess they're nuts. They look like little grommets to me, but I need a couple more of those. I also needed a couple more pipes and a couple more gears for some stuff that I was working on, so I'll grab those very rapidly, and I think we'll try to get up and out of the sandpunk bunker, and hopefully we don't come across any further resistance while we're down in here. We do have survival mechanics to pay attention to. You can find the UI up in the top left-hand corner of the screen. We've got our hydration, we've got our energy, we've got our hunger, we've got our drunkenness, and I don't exactly know. Oh, that's how many wounds I have. I thought it was a kill counter. So what do the wounds do? The wounds affect my max health just like in Zero Sievert? Okay, let's consume one of those bad boys then. Oh, that's like an extra 18% of my HP that was gone just by getting like shot in the dome piece. Although I do think there's a better way to represent this. Just having this overwrote by like red bar as it goes down, this counter right here feels really unnecessary with a modern UI. You could display it all right there and then get rid of one of the numbers right there that's clogging up the UI. I do need some hydration, so I'll drink some moo juice real fast. I'll take another med kit for getting rid of some of my wounds. He doesn't really have anything else. No wonder he hit so hard, dude. He had armor-piercing rounds. Stingy. Very, very stingy. Oh, I should be breaking down this ammo over here, too. All right, now that I went through and I scrapped all the ammo that each and every one of these guys was using so that I can take it back home with me, we can get out of here. This right here is like a little XP chit. It's basically a computer. You can interact with your drone on it, and it'll give you a little bit of XP. The game does have RPG mechanics. Each one of these unfolds into like 4 different tiers that you can get. You can buy the first tier for a skill point, and then from there you've got to do weaponized achievements in order to unlock the next tier. So for example, for reloading, it'll be like reload 80 times. I want that deer to die. I need deer meat. I don't remember what I need deer meat for, but I definitely recall requiring deer meat for something. Let me eat an egg real quick. I need to get my weight back down. I'll drink some water too. Actually, I don't need to. Let's eat that guy right there because I'm over the top of my weight, and then we'll make for the evac. Got kind of a little zombie android drone over there. This game does function on overworld, underworld, and you can go inside of buildings if you were to search them. However, there's really no indication a lot of the time about whether or not a building is open to be perused, which is something that I've kind of run into. It's got a different recoil model from Zero Sievert, which has definitely taken me some time to get used to, where your reticle jumps a lot more than you would expect, and then you can offset that with cyberware or with skills. 3 of those guys down right there. Although I will say that the game is quite a bit easier than Zero Sievert from what I've seen so far. Oh my god, okay, I've been shot. The game is quite a bit easier, just due to the fact that enemies don't really seem to open up on you with their weapons until they're pretty close. And so usually you can sort of like outrange them and just fight them from further away by backing up and mag dumping. Come on. There we go. Fish out that last hit. Right now, my accuracy is basically rock bottom, but I'm hoping to get that fixed before too long. Not a lot of opportunities to go through and... Oh, I've got a bleed on me right now. Let's handle that bleed. Bang that out real quick so that I no longer have a bleed on me. We'll use a med kit real fast so that my HP goes back up. I'm going to check this chest just in case it's got any nuts or bolts or anything else that might be useful to me in there. It's got a cyber arm. That's kind of nice. I also need a pillow for some other stuff. And so, like, I know that it's not cream of the crop loot, but when you've been sleeping on your folded arms for the last 6 months, it's an improvement. It's better than nothing, and at least it might get rid of that weird crick in your neck that you can't seem to get isolated. There we go. Get him knocked out, too. There are a number of different factions inside of the game, and so far, enemy variety has been pretty good, as long as you accept that most of the enemies are going to be humanoids. I have run into a couple of enemies that were not humanoids while I was playing through the game, and I'll leave those for you to discover out here in the wasteland. But my general experience has been the vast majority of everything you're going to be fighting is going to be some kind of weaponized soldier. That's okay because I, too, am a weaponized soldier rocking my Halo suit over here. I don't know, that's what it looks like to me. Doesn't it look like a Halo suit or like something a Guardian would wear in like a Bungie game like Destiny? That's what it kind of looks like to me. The graphic on your character, it does change when you swap out your armor, and so far there seems to be a decent amount of variety. But once we get done, the point of the game is to extract with all the loot that you have on you. The game has not been altogether that difficult so far, so this might be a good game to look at if Zero Sievert is just too damn nasty for you and you just don't feel like adjusting all the difficulty settings at the beginning of the game to find that mix that you want. But now that we've evac'd, I will introduce you to the base. So welcome to Megacity 1. As far as the game's storyline has told me, the world has ended. There are effectively no more people around except inside of places called outposts, which appear to be super cities that are flush with all the latest technology, and everybody that lives inside of here is just doing the normal cyberpunk, thing wearing colored glasses and having LEDs everywhere, and drones are flying around all over the place. However, for the people that weren't lucky enough to get inside one of the arcs, unfortunately, it's kind of deadly and lawless outside of there. There are lots of characters in this game. They've got a bunch of different quests and things that you can play around with. So this lady had the quest for the Sandpunk hideout, and now I get to pick some rewards, so I'll go ahead and grab some med kits. Place 3 tracking modulators in the Badlands. I guess I can go ahead and do that. Oh, we got this lady upgraded enough to where I can get a new weapon if I had 75,000 credits. I've got 35,000 credits, so I'm creeping slowly closer, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm using scrap weapons still because I just haven't had the chance to upgrade anything so far. But there's a bunch of different facilities, there's a bunch of different characters, they all have portraits, they all have backstories. The game seems to go out of its way to put those extra little accompaniments in there for the world building purposes to make the game kind of pop a little bit more. What I need to do for right now is I need to check my ammo. I've got 206 rounds of 8.55, so that should be good enough. But this guy right here lets me build base modules, and I'm still missing quite a few of them. So I can get a better bed that'll heal off my wounds, bleeds, and damage. What I really need is to upgrade my vault so that I have a much larger place to store all my kit. And then from there, that looks like it used up all of my pipes. So I'm kind of doubting that I'm going to be able to do anything else for right now. Yeah, it used up a whole bunch of my little utilities. Okay. As far as the repair workbench goes, how hard is that going to be to put together? I also don't have tech rank 1 yet, and I can't cook anything inside my kitchen. So we got problems on top of problems. Technically, we're a homeowner, but we kind of live in an empty box with nothing else inside of it. This guy, he sells cyberware. Like I said, I think they should actually go through all the cyberware and make them much more interesting. Flat stat bonuses are really failing to capitalize on how awesome cyberware is inside of Shadowrun and Cyberpunk. They do really, really cool things. And so, you know, who wants a 10% increase to your health when you can have a wrist-mounted rocket launcher that you can fire on a cooldown that blows stuff up? Who wants, you know, a 10% increase in your movement speed when you can get an eye that's got a laser sight inside of it that tracks the enemies and tightens your spread in exchange for the slot? So I definitely think they should diversify those out and make them much more interesting. Kind of feels like an underutilization to me. With that all said and done, let's go back to the base real quick and just see what kind of organization I can do. This is the house that I live in. I've built a sum total of like 4 or 5 things so far. Takes a little bit of grind to get it all done, but it's nothing that's going to be completely catastrophic if you've ever played a game like this before, especially once you start to learn where everything's at. You can do gun modding inside of here if that's the kind of thing that you're into. So those are all things that you can take care of. I'm going to throw a dot sight on top of my gun real fast because I got one inside of one of the last missions, and it'll increase the range that I can aim to. And so that'll be helpful for engaging from further away than the enemy can engage me. There is currently no auto sort, which I would highly recommend that they get implemented about as soon as humanly possible, just because there's no way to pull your items up to the top left-hand corner. Even if I could just mask them up to see how much extra space I have, without a bunch of dots and gaps, that would be intensely appreciated. I did want to check and see if there's a night cycle now that I've got my bitching and complaining done about a lack of an auto sort. I wanted to see if you can go into the maps at night because I've never actually lined up the night cycle with one of my missions. I usually sleep at night and then raid during the day, but this time around we're going to try to go out at night and sort of see what happens. We'll talk to the pilot, and I just unlocked the swamps, so I'd like to have a look around the swamps and see what the new map has to offer. Okay, so now that we're inside the swamps, let's have a look at this map. Oh my god, we got all kinds of things we need to do. Okay, so we're mapping the swamp for the powers that be inside the megacity, and so I need to mark some supply caches with a beacon. So there's one right there. You can barely see it, but I am happy that it's animated. It's got like a thing going on right there. Although I would have liked to have seen them like actually plant the whole thing, and that's kind of how it goes with this entire game, is that there's not really those extra little accompanying details that make the gameplay quite a bit more interesting, or at least more visually distinct. Don't know what that is. Oh, Christ. Okay, it's dead. All right. That thing took way more bullets than I thought it was going to take. A swamp walker. That weighs 1 kilogram, and it's only worth 400 bucks. I don't want it. I don't need it. Let's just leave it alone. And we got zombies up here. Can I go inside that house? No. these guys really shouldn't be too much of a problem. I think they could punch up the gun sounds too. So far while playing the game, there's only been 1 or 2 guns that I've heard that I thought to myself like, hell yeah, that sounds like a gun. Those weigh a ½ pound and they're worth 250, but they do take up a lot of space. Those little AI cyber brains or whatever. He's got an eyeball. I don't really care about the eyeball, but we do need to find the path up here to this last beacon. Grab a few. He's got 2 brains? Man, my man is playing 5D chess. Okay, drop him real quick. I don't really want the heart. I was kind of trying to see if he had alternate loot tables that you could play around with too. I'm going to try to stay on the beaten path here. Just because I don't really know what I'm walking into. Haven't played this map yet, so... Looks like that's a scan spot for XP, and it looks like higher level maps give you more XP for finding those little nodes too. Okay. How am I looking on ammo right now? Not great. And apparently I was firing my armor-piercing rounds too. That door is open. What does this guy do up here? Oh, he engaged from a lot further away. Okay, so these guys have... Oh my god, look at this tactical dude over here. We got Geardo +1 over here, bro. I mean, he's dead now. You have anything? Oh, they have actual guns? Okay. They're not using scrap weapons. I'm over here like an idiot using scrap weapons. His boots look like they're way better than my boots, so I'm going to throw those on. His pants also look like they are superior to my pants, so I'll throw those on real quick. What is that, a ritual scroll? Okay, so we've got like something weird and supernatural going on out here. I'm just going to scrap those. This guy also has one of these little vector-looking SMGs. 1,000 rounds per second? That's pretty baller, man. Yeah, that's way better than what I have on. Hold up. Yeah, let's get all that swapped out. I'm trying to look tactical out here, too. There we go. Give me the ritual scroll. We'll scrap the ammo, because I need that for building the next ammo bench so that I can build my own ammo stations. I'm going to eat that egg raw like Gaston. And what's inside this house? Anything good? There's a mighty stem, some med kits, some Endurex, which sounds like a prophylactic. Oh, there's another chest over on this side, too. I thought I'd sweep through real fast just to make sure I didn't miss anything. LCD screens and whatnot, I think we can leave those alone for right now. I do need pipes, though, pretty bad. Oh, my God, I look so badass right now. Dude, I look like I'm ready to take down the world right now. That did, I think this armor weighs a... Oh, no, it doesn't. It only weighs 1 kilogram. All right, so for Stormwatch, I got to get over to here, and we got to plant this final beacon, wherever this might be at. There it is. All right, so let's plant that thing right there. So that's now been placed. The weather beacons have been taken care of. And then in the case of Gold Rush, what is Gold Rush? Get the golden cyberware. Go into the cultist cave, eliminate a cultist cyber freak, and then gather the golden cyberware. Okay, I guess I can give that a try. Another XP terminal over here. I do like this walkway area. This is kind of nice visually. I dig this little area, dude. It reminds me of Hyperlight Drifter or something, the art style of this game. It's got a very stark, very interesting to the eye style. I think they are going to need a lot more locations and stuff on the map that spawn in randomly, and it should kind of, just like in Zero Sievert, it should show their outline on the map for the different facilities that exist around so that you can target specific things and whatnot to get on over there. I need water. Do I have water? Oh, I do have water. Look at that. I came into my raid prepared. I'll give myself a little more energy. We'll eat a fried egg real fast. We got another cyber zombie down here, but he's only got an eyeball on him, so I don't really care too much about looting that. I only tagged him like once. There we go. Got him right there. I do think it's a little easy to, like, kite the enemies, I guess, and so they never get a shot off or whatever. But some people might prefer that. You know, you remember one of my things about Zero Sievert was just that Zero Sievert really likes to bomb on you from like 3 screens away with a sniper scope, which can also be very, very frustrating from time to time. And so I don't really know how you fix that in a title like this. What are those, coffee beans? I don't really care about the coffee beans. What's inside this building, though? A cyberware crate. Increase your accuracy by 5%. Yeah, I think I would rather have that than my cyber lungs. Just pull those out of my chest right now. Nice and... It's modular, dude. It's modular. We're so far into the future, they made everything modular. It all just hooks up with a USB. So I, like, take my lungs out real fast. You know, my chest, I hit a couple buttons on my iPhone, and then my chest is like... And it just, like, opens up, and I'm like, all right, lungs, I don't need you right now. And then I could put the cyber arms on, because obviously those take the same slot. Oof, okay. All right. Ooh, my man is dumping at me right now. I'm hit. Give me a bandage real fast. Give me a med kit. He's shooting something bigger. He's got some kind of DMR or something. Ooh, so the color on the weapon is how rare it is. So we just got an epic E4, which is an M4 carbine. So that's pretty sick. I don't really want the mercenary goggles, but we're going to swap this out real quick right now. Yeah. It's got like an MRS on top of it, which I hate compared to the Hollow Sun or like the EOTech. So that's kind of a bummer. But the MRS will have to do for right now. This gun should be striking much harder than what we currently have equipped. Yeah, I was going to say, so that's 17 damage a shot. This is 26 damage a shot. So this is going to be right up my alley, dude. We came in here sort of like on Broke Boy hours, and we're walking out kind of like geared to the teeth. So it looks like there is a gear progression in between the maps, too. Like, as you go higher up in the maps, the guys have doper and doper weapons that they're going to be squaring off against you with. What's inside of here? Oh, there's a hatch full of dead hanged guys. Beautiful. Okay, 9mm suppressor. Some other little things in here that are just going to get converted into scrap. We'll just take it high and tight and nice and slow as we cruise through this. Oh, this, okay. All right. This gun's got the pop to it. Now I feel like I'm pod racing. Okay, now what bullets did it put in here by default? The wrong damn ones. These guys don't look very armored. Yeah, these guys aren't armored at all. These guys are squishy. So they go down nice and easy, but we will have to watch out for our ammo supply while we're down here. They've got a revolver in this game that fires a Mosin round, which is like the most lunatic shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I will take all the food. I'll take the nitrous. That gun has a silencer on it, so we probably want to take that. I mean, it's a USP. That's a really, really nice pistol. It's worth a lot of money. With the silencer or the suppressor on it, it's probably worth even more, too. But I have spent about 2 or 3 hours with this title, and I am ready to levy my thoughts about it. So this is one of those games that kind of like... Can I not loot him? Okay, I can loot him, though. Oh, he's got the golden cyberware. He's got a golden cultist's helmet? Dude, I'm so tacky. You know I can't help myself when you give me gold gear. You know I can't help myself. You know I have to equip it. There we go. So now I got the gold helmet on right there. Can I loot that thing? No. I can loot this, though. Ooh, it's got a bunch of antiques inside of it. Alright, so anyways, let's hit the closing thoughts about the game, because from where I'm sitting at right now, around 2 hours of gameplay time, my first impressions are positive, as long as you understand that the game kind of feels like it's on the earlier end of early access to me anyways. I have hit some bugs, one of which locked me out of selecting skills until I restarted the game entirely. Doors not opening, and the player just kind of clips through the door and transitions into the next zone, and so there's a little bit of sloppy presentation here and there that you'll run into that hopefully gets seen to as the game progresses through early access. It seems like there's possibly some mechanical systems missing as well, so I'm gonna have to wait and see what those look like before I can make a call. Character building in terms of the supporting NPC cast seems to be a little bit better than Zero Sievert's, with characters having dialogue that fleshes out the world, portraits that make them pop a little bit better than the competition. The maps themselves aren't quite as good as Sievert's in my opinion. I found the locations to be much less interesting and varied between the two maps that I played when compared to like the forest and the makeshift massive camp in Sievert. So hopefully they work on improving that. Every map needs to have its own internal sort of visual storyline, theme, and flow that it's pitching. But once again, that's an early access thing that can be reasonably easily solved by just creating some more locales. Building base facilities and whatnot seems very, very smooth compared to other offerings in the extraction genre, and so that was pretty easy. I didn't find the game to be that challenging. I never died once. The enemies don't really seem to want to shoot at you unless they're at point-blank range, and so I never died a single time during my time. They could punch up the gun sounds a little bit. Some are really terrible and some are really solid, and so that's a good area for improvement. And I think right now where I'm at with the game is that it's solid. It's a decent early access game, but I'm going to wait for more content before I fully dive in and give a finalized call on it. I want to see more guns, more skills, more vendors, more mechanics, that kind of stuff. In the current field of games, there's not really a reason to dive into this one when it's got so many competitors that are finished with their development cycle or much, much further on into it and closer to a 1.0. But the game does show promise if they can actually lean into the cyberware and cyberpunk themes the game has a little bit more to make it pop. Get away from the standard grab, loot, get out, milsim, slow-paced tactical games that dominate the genre, and think of how cool it would be to have a wrist-mounted cyberhand rocket launcher, mantis blades, an instant transmission teleporter that you've got mounted on a backpack as a result of your cyberware purchases. And I gotta say that the flat stat passive bonuses for cyberware were disappointing. It's a massive underutilization of the mechanic that I think will actually sell this game, because with the player getting greater cyberpunk powers, air quotes, you can really ramp up the enemy types, what they do, their strategies, their gear, their size, their advantages. And so that's what I would personally focus on here if I was working on this early access, is just cyberpunk the hell out of an extraction shooter rather than making an extraction shooter RPG with a cyberpunk code on. So I'm going to plop this one on my wish list for a little while, wait for updates to really get rolling, and I do think they have a solid foundation. But I'm hoping they'll lean harder into the cyberpunk idea that they've sewn into the greater extraction genre, since that, to my eye, is what makes this game unique. And so, my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was blood running. Tomorrow it'll be something else. Thanks, folks.